those who walk the many paths of the Aeldari with open arms, as next week's pre-orders are focused around the Aeldari. Codex Aeldari is 200 pages long, absolutely crammed full of Aeldari content, with rules for Ysiriani, YNNARI, and Harlequins, alongside their lore and legends, and beautiful artwork and miniatures photography. This is also available in a limited collector's edition with a soft-touch cover and silver foil blocking to show off that gorgeous new cover art with printed page edges and a black ribbon marker. Leading the new Aeldari miniatures is MAUGAN, the Harvester of Souls. Armed with his iconic scythed shuriken cannon, the Morgatar, he's a multi-disciplined demon on the battlefield, capable of delivering death up close or at range. This lethal and legendary Phoenix Lord is the founder of the Dark Reapers, an aspect that wages war by unleashing devastating long-ranged salvos. These skeleton-faced warriors receive a new plastic kit with a range of head options and a choice of heavy weapons for your exarch. The Aeldari are expert psychers, scrying runes and launching eldritch bolts into battle. Those on the first steps of the Path of the Seer are the Warlocks, who often go into battle in conclaves, overwhelming their opponents with potent psychic energy. Because they're a dying race, every craft welder that can fight must fight. Those that don't walk a specific path don armor and fight as guardians, defending their craft worlds to the bitter end. These come in two flavors: Guardian Defenders, who wield deadly shuriken catapults and come with heavy weapons platform, and Storm Guardians, close combat-focused militia who fight under the protection of a serpent shield. You can display your love of all things Aeldari on the table with this set of gem effect dice, complete with an Aeldari rune on the 6, perfect for rolling your Strands of Fate pool every turn. Codex Aeldari is absolutely packed full of stratagems and psychic powers, given that it crams in 3 whole armies: the Craftworld Ysiriani, the Harlequins, and the YNNARI. The Aeldari data card set contains 93 reference cards to help guide you to victory in your games. The YNNARI have access to 3 powerful characters who are now available to buy separately. First up is Yvraine, the emissary of Yncarne. A powerful psyker in her own right, she also wields one of the powerful crone swords and rallies together the YNNARI forces. Despite her psychic presence and skill at arms, Yvraine is often accompanied by her loyal bodyguard, the Visarch. Also wielding a crone sword, wearing baroque armor which you can draw various personalities from, if your foes want to take a swipe at Yvraine, then the Visarch will be there to meet them in bloody combat. While the Ysiriani have seen the reveal of a red-hot new avatar of Cain, the YNNARI have also seen the embodiment of Ynnead, god of the dead, appear in a whirl of freezing ectoplasm. This chilling entity is exceptionally deadly on the battlefield, and the perfect hard-hitting unit for your YNNARI forces. From one ancient and mysterious race to another, but universes apart, you can lead the runish dragon cult into battle with 2 new Easterling heroes. Personally trained by the Dragon Emperor himself, Rutabi is a powerful hero of valor and one of the foremost Easterling generals. Rogier, on the other hand, is the head of the Easterling war priests, a hero of fortitude who has delved into a variety of ancient scrolls and texts, developing his dark powers to earth-shattering levels. Fans of the Horus Heresy are in for a treat this week as 5 Black Library titles come to print on demand as hardback books. You'll be able to get your hands on The Master of Mankind, Garrow Weapon of Fate, Shattered Legions, The Crimson King, and Talon, which are books 41 to 45 of the Horus Heresy. Now from books to other shelf fillers, action figures, perfect for your displays, straight from McFarlane Toys. Originally exclusive to North America, folks from the rest of the world will now be able to get their hands on the Raven Guard Assault Intercessor Veteran Sergeant action figure. Decked out in the colours of the stealthiest Space Marine chapter, he'll still stick out in a display at 7 inches tall and with 22 points of articulation. If you have a desire to paint a massive version of a Warhammer miniature, then these 4 artists-proof action figures are for you. You can choose from a Ymgarl Genestealer, Space Marine Reaver with grapnel launcher, Orc Mega Knob, and Orc Big Mac. Fans of the World That Was have just received a blessing in the form of Total War Warhammer 3 on PC. But if you can tear yourself away from your screens for a moment, you'll be able to enjoy a game of backstabbing with Cubicle 7's Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Electicats, an old-world card game. Line yourself up for the throne of the Empire by collecting resources, assassinating rivals, and preparing for leadership-toppling sieges in this 2 to 4 player card game. If you've ever wanted to play a grand strategist and command the broader strokes of the battle for the Necromunda sector, then this is your chance. Warhammer 40,000 and Risk is a board game for 3 to 5 players that pits Marneus Calgar's Ultramarines, Abaddon the Despoiler's Black Legion, and the Xenos hordes of the Craftworld Eldari, Orcs, and the Genestealer cults against each other. Featuring a custom game board representing the Necromunda Warzone and 225 faction unit tokens split between the 5 factions, this marriage of Risk and Warhammer 40,000 is the ideal way to relive the assault on Necromunda, which has recently flared up again in the latest season of Warhammer 40,000. This week on Warhammer Plus, you'll be able to watch an episode of Loremasters all about the various castes of the Tau Empire and learn how to paint esoteric crystal blades with Citadel Colour Masterclass. On the Warhammer Vault, you'll see the return of the lore pages from the first edition of Auronautica Imperialis. You'll also be able to check out White Dwarf's 380 to 382 as we continue to plunder the back catalogue. Next week on the Warhammer community site is as packed as ever with new model reveals, more rules you can expect to see in Codex Aeldari as we run up to the release, and some Eiseneth Deepkin and Fireslayer rules previews. We've also got all of our regular shows on Warhammer Live. To stay up to date with everything we've got going on, be sure to follow our
Alright, welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio, and today we've got this week's Sunday previews for the new to come arrivals. So obviously we saw what they had to offer in the video here. Let's take a look. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, and of course, warcry content as well. So it's not all Aeldari for this preview, but they're too proud to go last. So let's get right in on it. Everything you need to know about what you can look forward to pre-ordering on Saturday. So here we see the regular edition of the Codex, and then also a special edition of the Codex as well. We know that realistically these are going to be the new pre-orders, so we're going to see the new pricing for Codexes coming in. So what, not 100% sure what that pricing is going to be. I will be back with an update as soon as I find out. But Codex Aeldari has 200 pages, absolutely crammed full of Aeldari content. The rules for Asuryani, YNNARI, and Harlequins, alongside a cornucopia of lore and many beautiful photos of their incredible miniatures. At only 8 pages shorter than the Codex Space Marines, it contains a hefty campaign section, 5 separate psychic disciplines, and datasheets covering the Guardian foot traps all the way to towering Wraith Knights. This is also available in a limited collector's edition with a soft touch cover and silver foil blocking to show off the gorgeous new artwork, as well as printed page edges and black ribbon marker. So obviously it sounds like we're getting a nice value in this Codex, 200 pages. So although we will be seeing the price hikes coming in, it's not going to be some puny little Codex. It should be the real deal. So first for our Aeldari new models, we have MAUGAN, the Phoenix Lord of the Dark Reapers. The reborn Phoenix Lord MAUGAN is next up. Very few ever get to see him up close, so count yourselves lucky. Armed with his iconic scythed shuriken cannon, the Maugatar, he is a multidisciplinary demon on the battlefield. Next we have the Dark Reapers coming in sets of 5 with various options for not only their helmets but also for the Exarch himself. And then they do include their little statue also. The lethal and legendary Phoenix Lords is the progenitor of the Dark Reapers, an aspect that wages war by unleashing devastating long-range salvos. These skeleton-faced folk get an all-new plastic kit with a range of head options and an Exarch with the choice of Tempest Launcher, Aeldari Missile Launcher, Shuriken Cannon, or Reaper Launcher. So quite some options there for the Dark Reapers. Then we have our Warlock 2-pack next. So you'll get 2 of these new plastic Warlock sculpts with some interchangeable weapons and heads. While might is almost always right in the 41st millennium, it doesn't always need to be delivered from the barrel of a warm gun. The Aeldari are expert psychers, scrying ruins and launching eldritch bolts at their foes. The vanguard of these brain geniuses are the Warlocks, who often go to battle in conclaves, overwhelming their opponents with potent psychic energy. So we know that they will have a sword and spear option, a couple of various like pistol and hand options, a few head options as well, and then of course there are 2 options for the body also, and they will come in that 2-pack. Next we have our Guardians. Here we have the single new Guardian kit that will include 10 Guardians as well as the platform, and they can be assembled as either the Storm Guardians with hand-to-hand combat weapon and pistol with the defensive turret, or they can be assembled as the regular Guardians or Guardian Defenders, which have the shuriken catapults and then a weapons turret as well. Quite a few head options and some nice poses. As a dying race struggling for survival, every Aeldari who can fight must fight. Those who don't walk a specific warrior path don't armor and fight as guardians, defending their craft worlds to the bitter end. These come in 2 flavors: Guardian Defenders, who wield deadly shuriken catapults and come with the heavy weapons platform, and Storm Guardians, a close combat focused militia who fight under the protection of a serpent shield. Whichever you pick, they will likely be the bulk of your Aeldari armies. So we know that the single kit is going to be able to make either of the 2 options for the platform, and then also the Guardian options as well. So you will receive all the different weapons available to them. And then of course we did a little review or reflected on the rules that were released so far. So we have seen that they're going to have some nice rules. They're getting a buff to their armor save, so they will all have a 4+ armor save. The Storm Guardians have the option for the turret, which is defensive and gives them a 5+ invulnerable save from shooting attacks. So we know they're going to have some pretty good rules, and then obviously they'll have all the army-wide rules as well. Next we see the dice and data cards. So we know previously the dice have come in packs of 20 for $30. So we can assume that there will be a price hike on all these things. We don't know exactly what yet, but I will let you guys know as soon as I find out the official pricing. But we have 20 of those, with the 6 being the Eldar symbol. And then of course we have our data cards as well, which is going to give you like all your special stuff for them, warlord traits, psychic powers, and the likes. You can display your love for all things Aeldari on the table with this set of gem effect dice, complete with the Aeldari rune on the 6, perfect for rolling your Strands of Fate pool every turn. Unsurprisingly, Codex Aeldari contains a ton of stratagems and psychic powers, given that it crams in 3 whole armies in order to make sure they aren't overwhelmed by your choice. Forced to flip through your book like a young warlock preparing for his path exams, grab this pack of 93 reference cards. I do really like the reference cards, although they're not necessary. The convenience of them is very, very nice. So now we see the Triumvirate of Ynid. Last Aeldari factions to arise, the YNNARI have access to 3 powerful characters who are available separately for the first time. So previously, this kit was only offered as the Triumvirate of Ynid with all these characters together, but now we are seeing them each individually offered. First up is Yvraine, the emissary of Ynid, the good god of death, a powerful psyker in her own right. She also wields one of the powerful crone swords and has a nice Jirinx. So we know that, Yvraine, or the Cat Lady, in previous editions has been very, very good, extremely powerful psyker. So we can assume that she will still be good. Obviously, we don't know about her rules, stats, or what she's going to have, but we know that she will be a powerful, powerful psyker. So definitely going to be seeing her in plenty of armies, I'm sure, assuming her points are, representative of her powers. And then next we see her bodyguard. This is an awesome model, as if Yvraine wasn't already an amazing model. Her bodyguard is absolutely awesome. They obviously have a nice blend of the Aeldari and Drukhari making up their faction. So we see here he has a nice Aeldari look to him, and definitely has some remnant bits of the Aeldari, but definitely has a Drukhari-esque look to him as well. Absolutely phenomenal looking model. Despite her psychic presence and fearsome swordsmanship, Yvraine is always accompanied by her loyal bodyguard, the Visarch. Also armed with a crone sword, he's clad in a suit of Bel Ansodic armor, from which he can draw upon various personalities of past wearers. If your foes want to take a swipe at Yvraine, then the Visarch will be here to meet them in bloody combat. So obviously the Visarch, absolutely great looking model. And then finally, of course, we have already went over the rules. If you didn't see them already, I definitely would recommend to go and have a look there. But we have our... While the Asuryani awaits the return of the red-hot new avatar, the murderous manifestation of Kalamen Chicane, the YNNARI have the Yncarne, the herald of the god of death, who appears in a whirl of freezing ectoplasma. This chilling entity is exceptionally deadly on the battlefield and the perfect heavy hitter for your YNNARI forces. So obviously the Yncarne, once again, a great looking model, much larger than the other two. And again, I will let you know as soon as I know about the pricing on these, but we have some of the rules already officially released on the Yncarne, and they are great. Obviously very, very powerful character, and we will, I'm sure, be seeing him in many of these armies as well. Next, for the Middle-earth strategy battle game for Lord of the Rings. So we have Rutabi and Brorgir, a couple of the Lord of the Rings bros. your chance to get the Rundish dragon cults into battle with 2 Easterling heroes personally trained by the Dragon Emperor himself. Utabi is a powerful hero and one of the foremost Easterling generals. Borger, in the other hand, is the head Easterling war priest who has delivered the ancient text to enhance his dark powers to earth-shattering levels. So here's our Dragon Guard cult bros. And then we have from the Black Library a bunch of more releases. Fans of the Horus Heresy are in for a treat this week as 5 Black Library books come to print on demand in hardback so you can complete your collection as the Siege of Terra builds to a climax. So we have the Master of Mankind, Caro, the Shattered Legions, the Crimson King, and Talarn. You'll be able to get your hands on the books that we just listed off here. Obviously print to order. And then, of course, we have some officially licensed models here. These are like the larger models. So we have the Raven Guard Assault Intercessor Veteran Sergeant action figure, originally only available at GameStop stores in North America. The rest of the world, excluding China and North America, can shortly order him from the Games Workshop web store. So no China and no North America this time. Decked out in the colors of the stealthiest of Space Marine chapters, at 7 inches tall, he'll still stick out in any display, designed with the Ultra articulation with up to 22 moving parts for a full range of posing. And obviously this one comes already painted from McFarlane Toys. And then these 4 artistic proof action figures are tailor-made for people who want to paint their own action figures. You can choose from the Yagmarl Gene Stealer, the Space Marine Reaver with Grapnel Launcher, the Orc Meganob with Shuda, and the Orc Big Mech. And these are called the artist proofs because they come unpainted, so you can obviously paint them up yourselves. These are really nice models with lots of detail. They do stand about 7 inches tall, depending on like banner poles, etc. But they are pretty nice, and they do have quite a bit of articulation, and they come with their little base to stand up as well. And these, obviously, if you want to paint something big, or you have an army for one of these factions and you want to represent it with your own custom paint job, this is the perfect way to do it. Again, not sure on the pricing on these, but previously they have ranged around like $20 to $25. If you want to see just how far you can take these action figures, check out what our Citadel Color Masterclass painter achieved with the McFarlane Toy Intercessor. Fans of the world that was have just received a blessing in the form of Total War Warhammer 3 on PC. So obviously Warhammer Total War 3 just came out. But if you can tear yourself away from your screens for a moment, you'll be able to enjoy a game of backstabbing with the Cubicle 7's Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Elector Counts, an old world card game. So here we see a card game for Warhammer Fantasy Battles from the old world. And then finally, line yourself up for the throne of the Empire by collecting resources, assassinating rivals, and preparing for leadership, toppling sieges in the 2 to 4 player card game. So obviously we have Risk here with a Warhammer 40,000 theme to it. So your traditional Risk game with a Warhammer 40,000 map and Warhammer 40,000 themed figures and cards. And for those who fancy themselves grand strategists commanding the broader strokes in the battle for the Nakmun sector, here is the Warhammer 40,000 Risk, the board game for 3 to 5 players, pits Marneus Calgar Ultramarines, Abaddon the Despoiler's Black Legion, and Xenos hordes of the craft world Aeldari, orcs, and Gene Stealer cults against each other. The custom board game represents the Nakmun system in all its embattled glory, and there are 225 unit tokens split between the 5 factions. And then of course we have Warhammer Plus. So we see the Lore Master Taucast, and then a painting, Crystal Blades, and then some old books released on Warhammer Plus, a couple White Dwarfs, and the Imperial Armor. And then, of course, we have some hobby hangouts on the Warhammer community. And yeah, that's it for this week's pre-orders. So obviously we know these will come available for the pre-orders, and these will all be affected by the new pricing. So we're yet to see what that officially is. We know that Games Workshop has so far stated that we can expect 5% pricing increases on the majority of these items. So our typical like $35 boxes should go up by about less than $5 theoretically. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, if it's going to come up in round numbers or what. For instance, though, let's say we know the Howling Banshees are $55 or were $55. So a 5% price increase would be like $3. I don't know that we're going to see these go from like 55 to 58. I think it's more likely we see them coming in at like $60. And then, you know, for like the characters, we know like Jane's are coming in at like $35 or $40. So is MAUGAN Raw going to come in, you know, with a 5% increase or a 10% increase? Well, if it was, let's say, $40, the 10% increase would put them at $44. So I think more than likely we will see the characters go from 40 to 45 or 35 to 40. I don't think we're going to see a ton of just like random numbers. I think it's more likely they're going to kind of round everything up to the closest 5. And then for the codex, we know previously we have been seeing the codex coming in at $50 and $80 for the special edition codex. They have stated that these will go up 10% or more. So we know the books and publications are going to be going up 10% or more. So the $50 codexes, or all codexes from this point on, will go from $50 to probably $55, possibly as high as $60. And then for the $80 special edition codexes, if it's going to go up 10%, it would technically go to $88. I think it's more likely to go to $90. So I think there's a good possibility we see the regular codex at either $55 or $60 USD, and then we see the special edition codexes going, I mean, theoretically to 88, but probably 90. So 55 to 60 for the regular codex and 90 for the special edition codex is probably what we will see from here on out. And that includes previously released codexes as well, as they will be raising the prices on everything in their store in line with this. And if you didn't hear about the price rises or you want to know the details, I did do an in-depth video on that, so you can find the price rises and exactly where the price increases are coming from on Games Workshop side, and whether or not they are raising prices more than their costs are going up, or anticipation of future costs going up, to make sure that they protect their profit margins, which, spoiler alert, they are raising prices much faster so far than they have seen to their bottom line. So, but you can take a look at that video if you like. Obviously, that is it for this week. Quite a bit coming out for the pre-orders. Definitely looking forward to the Aeldari. What are you most excited about? Are you looking to start an Aeldari army? Have you already begun? Do you already play Aeldari? Are you just looking to wipe the table with these new guys and you think they're just going to get absolutely smacked down because they're going to be terrible? Do you think they're going to be extremely overpowered and break the game? Do you think they're going to be overpowered for a couple months and then all of a sudden the FAQ is going to come out and just completely smack them down with nerfs and points increases left and right after they have all sold out? Let me know what you think down below. Love hearing from you guys. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you. Channel has been growing absolutely like crazy lately, and this is all possible by not only you guys watching and liking the videos, but most of all by subscribing. We're getting more video watches on every single video we publish than we currently have subscribers, which just tells me that there are a ton of you that have recently found the channel that have not pulled the trigger yet. And if you really want to see more content like this and you want to help the channel grow, you can do it for absolutely free by just clicking that subscribe button. So there you have it. Put out a new video or more every single day. Of course, everything from reactions, reviews, and all kinds of unboxing, anything to do with Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, and warcry as well. And then, of course, we are a commission-based studio, so we show off the commissions as they are completed, and then, of course, do all types of painting, conversion, magnetization, lighting, pretty much any other kind of tutorial that you can imagine. So make sure you check out those videos as well, like and subscribe. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.